Today, we're not celebrating timeless masterpieces, but diving into the more controversial side of Italian car design. We're talking about those models that dared, sometimes too much, leaving us more puzzled than amazed. We've put together our own ranking of the 10 most questionable Italian cars in terms of looks, and yes, even Ferrari and Lamborghini made the list. Here are the rules. Only one model per manufacturer, only mass-produced cars. In 10th place, the Auto Bianchi Primilla. Technically, it was a stroke of genius, a true moving laboratory, introducing for the first time the concept of a transverse engine with front-wheel drive. This clever solution would go on to revolutionize the world of compact cars. But while it was lightning fast in terms of engineering innovation, its looks were a bit clunky. With its boxy shape and a noticeable lack of elegance, the Primula looked like a car that had skipped a few styling lessons at the coach builder's school, even though it paved the way for future design solutions. Let's dive right in with the Maserati Biturbo. Its design was, for some, a punch in the gut, ultra boxy, with loud, retro details, and an overload of matte black trim that stripped away the flowing elegance usually associated with Maserati. To many, it simply lacked the regal presence you'd expect from an Italian supercar. It was an attempt to democratize luxury, but perhaps at the expense of style. And yet, despite the criticism about its looks and a rather shaky reliability record, the Biturbo was a commercial hit for Maserati, selling an impressive number of units, around 40,000, and keeping the brand afloat during a rocky period. It's worth noting that while early reliability issues tarnished its image, ongoing improvements solved most of those problems, even if the bad reputation stuck around. It's a car that still divides opinions. Some love it for its unapologetic boxiness, while others see it as a design misstep best left in the past. Watch out! Here comes a luxury SUV that looks like it drove straight out of an 80s action movie, the Rayton Fissor Magnum. Born from the idea of combining the comfort of a sedan with the toughness of an off-roader, its design was an odd blend. A bulky front end, square lines, and proportions that made it look stubby and far from graceful. It resembled a war vehicle dressed for a party, but one that missed the invitation. On closer inspection, it even looked like a Fiat Uno on steroids. The same boxy, compact vibe, but beefed up like it had been hitting the gym with Chuck Norris. Curiously, aside from being the favorite car of the Italian Secret Services, which gave it a kind of homegrown James Bond mystique, the Magnum was also sold in the United States under the name La Forza. And get this, it could even be fitted with large displacement Ford V8 engines. A Brazilian station wagon transplanted into Italy under a new name, the Innocenti Elba. Basically a Fiat Duna weekend with a different badge, but changing the name didn't change the looks. Boxy lines, sad headlights, and clumsy proportions made it look like a Tipo that lost a bet, the perfect ride if you needed space and wanted zero attention. Not even by accident. Here we are with the infamous Rambo Lambo. The Lamborghini LM002 is a punch in the gut for fans of sleek supercars, massive, angular, and utilitarian in appearance, a far cry from the low-slung, curvaceous lines of real Lamborghinis. It looks more like a luxury tank, or perhaps a Hummer that once attended an Italian design academy and flunked out. A bold experiment, no doubt, but aesthetically a bit clumsy for those who dreamed of aerodynamic elegance. Interestingly, the LM002 was originally conceived as a military vehicle. It started life as a prototype for armed forces. Though it didn't break through in uniform, it was reborn as an outrageous toy for sheiks and celebrities, and today, it stands as a one-of-a-kind collector's item. An ugly that grew into a legend. A Ferrari on this list? Believe it or not, yes. Even the prancing horse has had its off days, at least according to the harshest critics. The Ferrari 612 Scaglietti, a 2+2 Grand Tourer, was often singled out for its less aggressive and somewhat softer design. The front end was considered a bit heavy, and its proportions, for some, lacked the grace and dynamism of its sleeker, more seductive siblings. It looked like a GT that had maybe enjoyed a few too many scoops of gelato. But hold on. It wasn't all about looks. The 612 Scaglietti was actually one of the most comfortable and practical Ferraris ever built. It offered surprisingly good space for 4 passengers and impressive ride comfort, making it ideal for long-distance cruising. So no, not the most photogenic of Ferraris, but definitely one of the most welcoming. The Lancia Thesis is the kind of car that sparked more than a few heated debates, even between couples. For some, it was a bold attempt at innovation, with a look that bordered on retro-futuristic. For others, though, its design was simply awkward and unbalanced, with a front end that felt overly bulky and a rear that seemed borrowed from an entirely different car. It was a flagship sedan that never quite found true visual harmony, giving off the impression of something grand, yet a little clumsy. Despite its commercial flop and all the criticism aimed at its styling, the Thesis was actually packed with cutting-edge tech and plush comfort for its time. It featured ultra-sophisticated suspension, an advanced infotainment system, and an interior that felt more like a stylish living room than a car. It even served as the official state car for several top Italian politicians, including President Carlo Azeglio Ciampi himself. So no, it wasn't exactly a cover model, but it was absolutely a queen of comfort. Ah, the Fiat Duna. Its reputation truly precedes it, often as a recurring character in car-related jokes. Imagine taking the excellent Fiat Uno, a rational and successful little car, and sticking a trunk onto it that looks like it was drawn with a ruler by an uninterested child. The result? Unfortunate proportions, a flat design, and an overall sense of, I wish I could, but I can't. Definitely not what you'd call love at first sight. No surprise then that its twin, the Innocenti Elba, which we saw in 7th place, didn't do much to improve its public image. And yet, despite getting roasted non-stop in Italy, the Duna turned out to be a true star abroad, a real bestseller in South America, especially in Brazil and Argentina, where people truly appreciated its practicality, solid build, and giant trunk. It was built and sold there for years, long after it vanished from Italian roads. So yes, ugly but useful, the Cinderella of the Latin American car market. In 2nd place, we have the DR0, a clear example of how combining Chinese models with an Italian touch can lead to some questionable aesthetic results. Its lines are generic, awkwardly proportioned, and the overall feel is that of a budget car lacking any real personality, with finishes that, let's be honest, don't exactly shine. It almost looks like an unfinished 3D rendering. Yet, despite all the criticism about its design and exotic origins, the DR0 and the DR brand more broadly managed to carve out a niche in the Italian market thanks to aggressive marketing and extremely competitive prices, especially for those looking for a brand new car at the cost of a certified used one. A commercial success that proves how, sometimes, the wallet beats good taste. And in 1st place, the undisputed champion of made-in-Italy ugliness, the Alfa Romeo Arna. This was an unfortunate experiment, to say the least. A forced marriage between Alfa Romeo's sporty elegance and the bland, uninspired Japanese design of the time. Picture this, you take a Nissan Cherry and slap an Alfa badge on it. The result? A car with none of the soul or character typical of the Alfa brand, visually dull and utterly forgettable. A stain on the legacy of a glorious manufacturer. The name Arna wasn't just random, it stood for Alfa Romeo Nissan Automobili. The car was produced at the Portola Serra plant in southern Italy, with Nissan bodies shipped straight from Japan and Alfa mechanics assembled locally. A true assembly of cultures, not just mechanical but also philosophical, that failed to win hearts and ultimately became a symbol of stylistic failure. You might be wondering, what about the Fiat Multipla? Don't worry, we haven't forgotten it. Since we already included it in our top 15 ugliest cars of all time, you'll find the link in the description. We decided to leave it out of this ranking to avoid being repetitive. The Fiat Multipla is a true case study in automotive design. You either love it or hate it. There's no middle ground. But one thing is certain, it doesn't go unnoticed. It's so unique that it was exhibited at New York's Museum of Modern Art in 1999 as part of the show Different Roads, Automobiles for the Next Century. Not a small honor, reserved for projects that, although controversial, marked a turning point in innovation and functionality. In short, maybe an ugly car, but with a place of honor in the world of art and design. And there you have it, our ranking. As you've seen, taste is subjective, and automotive design is full of bold choices that don't always work out. But one thing's for sure, these cars left their mark, for better or worse. Which car made you cringe the most? And which one do you think we missed? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe so you don't miss our next videos.